Hey guys, before we get to those lists, make sure you like, subscribe, and ring the bell.
Make sure you're checking out our Discord where people are talking, chatting, leaving discussions about things, and trading and selling board games sometimes.
Join our Facebook group. Follow us on Instagram for memes and reels.
Also, find us on Whiskey Wednesday live, 8 p.m. Eastern.
On Wednesday.
Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
And I'm Mike.
Whoa, and this is the Board Game Rundown. And today, I did not see that coming. There's a lot of pointing going on.
There's a lot of pointing going on.
Today, we are going to do our most anticipated games of 2025. So these are games that you should, we'll just give us some plausible deniability here. Should be able to purchase in the year 2025.
Yes.
So they should be released. If they were kickstarted in years past.
Right.
They should be filling this year.
Sometimes delays happen, but they should be filling.
But they could also just be regular releases as well.
Correct.
Yep. So these are all games that we are excited. So we've compiled a list of 5 each. Mm-hmm. There might be crossover, but there may not.
Maybe.
The delays happen, though, but these games are projected to be out this year.
I was anticipating you saying that.
I was anticipating those games.
Foreshadowing is impressive.
Does anybody have any special criteria or anything weird they need to say about their list, or we just get right into it?
I'm ready.
Let's jump in.
Let's jump in.
Jump in it.
Bob,
That's me.
what's your number 1 or 5?
Yeah, I can start with number 5.
Your first one.
My first one.
Your first
which is
one.
number 5.
Yeah.
I did mention this game in our live stream, so if you're not watching us on Whiskey Wednesdays, you should be.
You should.
But Moneymaker, The Goldsmith's Tale, I really think that Mike is going to enjoy this one. I'm not super big on market manipulation games, but when we got to play this, I believe it was last year, I had a great time with it, and I'm looking forward to the finished copy being delivered hopefully about a month or so at time of filming.
Nice.
Yeah, this game was awesome.
Yeah.
This game was really fun, and it really sparked a lot of conversation on how modern banking works.
Yes.
And it's
yes. Thank you for that debt. I would like to spend Tim's debt to buy that, please.
Oh, it's so interesting.
Yeah.
It was so interesting.
I love that idea. And I love any game where most money wins.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a thing.
Yep.
Okay. My number 5.
Yeah. So your first one you like?
My first one.
Yeah, it's number 5.
Yeah, I'm so good at this. My first one is it is a Eagle Griffin game that was funded last year on Kickstarter. I am really excited about Vital Lacerda's
Speak about this.
Easy. Yes, this game was really cool.
Speaking of games you play with people who would, or you don't play with people who really would have enjoyed them.
I know,
would have
right?
liked to have played that game with you when you played it.
Yeah, well, we'll play it again. It
Yeah.
was really good. And you're basically, you're just trying to run your mob empire, right? You're taking over territories. There's going to be police presence. You can buy them off. You're building up your speakeasies. There's docks where you can just, sort of manipulate some goods and all kinds of good stuff in there. It's a Lacerda, right? So it's there's one of 6 actions you can take on your turn, but then that does 10 other things, So really interesting, really fun. Ian O'Toole art. Nothing not to love about it.
Right.
I mean, it's a giant box.
Right.
It's chunky.
I have literally a shelf with my Lacerda, Ian O'Toole, Ethan Griffin games.
Yeah. So it was really good, and I really had a great time with it. They did a great job capturing the theme.
You spoke very easily about that
I
game.
did.
Speaking of games where most money wins, my number 5 is actually currently on Kickstarter. At the time of this filming, it's got 11 days left of the campaign. But because it's published by Allplay, and they are very good about getting their games to the publisher right after the
Mike's
campaign
calling
ends,
a shot.
I say this will be out either at Gen Con or right after. They're calling August of 2025. It's Merchants of Andromeda.
Oh, right on.
So this is one of those all-play campaigns that has 3 games in the campaign. They have Waddle, they have Twinkle Twinkle, and Merchants of Andromeda. This is a most money auction game by my favorite auction designer, Mr. Dr. Reiner Knizia, one of my all-time auction designers. This game actually is going to use an app to control a Dutch auction. In this app, all players are going to put their finger on the app. Then it starts a 20-second timer. The first person that pulls their finger off wins the bid. But the longer you go,
The lower the bid.
lower your bid goes.
That's awesome.
That concept alone has me. Okay, so there's this. Who's going to pull first? But if you pull first, you're also
Paying more.
costing yourself more money by doing so. How bad do you want it?
I mean, Bob's the pullout king. It's gonna be hard to beat. It's gonna be hard to beat Bob at this game.
I don't know. He's got 3 more years of experience than I do. But I also do not have any children. Other cool things going on in this game. You're managing resources. You've got multi-use cards. You're either going to use them for a resource, for an action, or the card that's going to be auctioned off. You're going to be doing votes, and you're going to do that by putting these little like ballot chits into a ballot box. So you got to remember how many votes go into the box. And then, just most money wins. A lot of different things going on in this one. Quick honorable mention. I know we're going to do our honorable mentions at
Don't
the
do it just
end.
in case it's on somebody else's list.
Okay. I already mentioned the other games that are in that campaign. You should
Just
check
in
them
case.
out
And we didn't-
because All Play prints and publishes great games.
They're very reliable. That is a like back with confidence company.
It's already raised $110,000 at the time of this video. But Merchants of Andromeda from Reiner Knizia and All Play, I can't wait. This game looks like a blast.
I like how you said Mr., then you changed it to Doctor, because he didn't spend 10 years in board game design school to be called Mr.
Mister.
People go to college for 7 years, Bob.
That's right. They call them doctors. All right, that's going to take us down to my second one, which is number 4.
We're off to a great start.
I deserve all of
This
this.
should have been alive.
It should have.
Anyways, so my number 4 is delivering right now as we speak. People are getting them. It is Iridia, the paths we dare tread.
Yes.
I have open mind. If you do open yours, don't punch it all because there won't be room for it. Because as you punch it, there's going to be spots and things that open up as you play through the game. There is a quick start guide right on top. Follow it because it's going to tell you how to get everything set up, how to get the decks and boxes set up, the map set up, your character set up, walk you through your first like combat scenario and everything, and then it's going to tell you how to put everything away at the end of that. But man, this game is really neat. It's got a really cool combat system where different weapons are attacking different ways. Either you're attacking horizontal or at a slash or at a vertical, depending on what kind of weapon it is. You're rolling a d20, you're adding your stat, and then you have like a white hit and a gray hit. And so if you roll one value, you're only doing a little bit of damage. If you roll a higher value, you're getting both those damage hits. Each monster is going to have like a grid on it with like dots on it, and you're putting damage cubes like on them. And then once all the damage cubes are filled up, then the monster dies. Man, it's super cool. And like, but one of the cool things about it too is like all the minis are pre-painted, and then you pick your class, and then none of the bodies have heads, and then you pick the race that you want to be, and you put the head on the body.
That's
I
cool.
just think that's so cool.
That's very
But
cool.
yeah, man, it's very cool. I'm glad this is like 4 years in the making. I think it was.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Finally
It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. So
I'm marking the ones that I've used. I got a lot of honorable mentions. Anyways, my number 4, my second pick,
your second pick.
is only fitting that it is 4 Horsemen. So this is a Kickstarter that is just filling now. I got my box set yesterday.
Yeah.
And was cracking it open. And basically in this game, you are, the 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse are getting ready to end the world. And as heroes of antiquity, right? Like, so we're like going to be playing as all these like mythological figures from different pantheons of mythology. So like there's Judeo-Christian, there's Greek, there's Norse, there's Chinese. I mean, there's all kinds of different areas of the world because it's the whole world that's ending, not just like one particular religion, right?
Right.
So everybody then, it then turns into sort of like crisis management, the game, right?
Okay.
Because there's going to be different things you're doing to try to stave off as demons are I don't know, infecting, invading different parts of the world. So you're trying to keep those numbers down. It has this really unique system where you get these relic cards, okay? And you are going to use one as a boon. And there's one, I forget, there's use one, there's boon, and then there's like sacrifice. So one of them you're going to have to sacrifice. So you're getting rid of these cards constantly, but the timing in which you do it, right? And they give you different effects based on which slot you're using it. So like I might get rid of this really good sacrifice card, but the sacrifice effect is really good, but maybe I've used it already to do some of the other things as it cycled through the deck. And so as stuff goes bad, you've got a divinity level, and once you start to fall, because the actions you take are going to increase your corruption, then whenever you are forced to take corruption and you can't, or you've already fallen, it speeds up the Four Horsemen, because you know it's allowing the darkness to spread more.
Okay.
So it's a very difficult co-op. I actually played it with the designer at Gen Con 2 years ago, and we lost, but we got far, but we lost, and it's tough. And
The art looks really cool in this game.
there's tons of different heroes that you can play as, and then different kinds of demons, because there's also, it's not just the Four Horsemen. There's like malaise is like a scenario, right? So then it gives you different events that you're going to encounter and deal with. So lots of different things and options. It's very cool. It's filling now, so if you kickstarted it, it should be showing up soon. Otherwise, I assume maybe you can find it online.
Or on the website or something.
Yeah, or at the website. But Four Horsemen, really
Sounds cool.
I love difficult co-ops, and I
Yeah.
love the theme. So I
was watching him open the box and getting insanely jealous.
yeah, I was excited.
We're gonna have to bust it out.
Yep.
All right, my number 4 is going to be the first release from an indie publisher that we know well, from Kenson Key Games. It is Galactic Cruise. So we covered this project way back when it was still in its prototype form, when that hype train was just getting started back at Origins 2023. The buzz around it was huge because of the release of the Ian Toole box art, and that buzz only continues to get stronger because now those boxes have landed on U.S. soil and will be fulfilling to Kickstarter backers probably shortly after this video is released.
Yeah, early this month.
We're going to be covering that game, by the way, so stay tuned for our review. But the quick and dirty about this game is that this is a worker placement game where you're sending guests on luxurious space cruises into outer space. On your turn, you're either placing a worker to take 2 actions in an ever-expanding network, launch a ship, and send one of your workers to space as a pilot, or recall all of your Earthbound workers to collect funding bonuses. Actions include acquiring blueprints, constructing ships, attracting guests, and building developments, which are connections between locations that increase action selection throughout the game. This game just looks great. The buzz has been awesome, and just very excited to cover this one and finally get a chance to check it out.
Yeah, finally.
Yeah. Sweet. That's going to take us down to number 3. The third one.
The third
That
one.
kind of makes sense. That it's the third
Yeah,
one.
finally.
Yeah, finally. Man, if I could just think of a way to save this list, I would figure out a way to how to save a world.
Oh!
But no, so How to Save a World, we've done some coverage on this game. It's a great game coming out this year where there's an impending meteorite, and you have to either build a space laser, you can try to work on building a shield to protect the planet, or you can just evac and get out of there. But this game has some really neat mechanisms where you're doing things on the planet. You also have the moon where you're working on things, and certain actions will take you to different locations, and you have to balance where you have your workers at. You're kind of like bag building with these cubes, depending on as you're working on things. They're going to go in there, and you're going to be pulling those cubes out as you resolve the implosion or the explosion or the implosion. No, not an implosion. It'd be the impact. The meteor impact. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, it's supposed to be delivering very soon, so hopefully people will be getting that before too long.
We did get a chance to preview this one, so we've all played it.
Yep.
It was awesome. It was an honorable mention for me. Barely missed the list. Burnt Island Games.
Yeah.
Definitely got to be checking out their project. And first time designer Yuval Grinspun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This game's a blast.
And we got to
Definitely.
play games with you all at QSCon. That was fun.
That was
too.
fun. Yeah.
All right, man. So many good ones to pick from. Man, let's go with this one. Let's just go with another friend of the show. This should be out this year. Man, now I need to. Okay, you know what?
Should be out this year. That's
Should
kind
be
of
out.
the pre-rec for this.
No. It's actually going to be out soon. It's going to be out soon because it's not. It's not a Kickstarter.
Okay.
It's from our friends Weathervane Games, designed by our friend Wes Todd.
Oh.
I'm talking about Wildside.
Yeah.
Man, this game, Mike, tell us how much you like this game.
Yeah, Mike.
Oh, yeah. See, I was sick.
Oh, here come the excuses.
So this game was super fun. This was a very, it's a card game,
Yeah.
and they're gonna have different suits with different animals, whatever. But the numbers
It's
are what's
like a hand shedding.
yeah,
Yeah.
hand shedding game. But the really fun thing is you're gonna have 4 cards in front of you that are face down, and then on top of that 4 cards, and then like a hand of like
Face up.
12 cards, right?
Yeah.
Something like that. And kind of like a scout or something like that. You're gonna play cards, and you have to be able to
Get lower than the card the person before
get
you
lower.
played.
You could go same or lower, right?
Yeah, same or lower, yes. And then if you have 4 of the same number showing, it wipes the board, and then you get to play whatever you want.
And then you lead, right?
Yep, and then you lead.
Now there is a rule where like the 10s are an automatic wipe ends,
Yep.
and you lead.
Then you play to play again.
Uh,
the thing is, those other cards that are face down, you don't know what they are till you flip them over, and they can lead to chaos.
So if you can't lead with one of those cards, you're just like,
You're like,
well, I hope this is
yeah,
good.
because otherwise, if it doesn't, you got to pick that whole
And
pile
you pick
back
the
up.
whole pile up. Because
Yeah.
here's the thing, right? I could play an 8, Mike could play an 8, Bob could play an 8, and it's like, well, I don't have any more 8s. So then I play a 7. So now it's basically restarted, right? And so Mike could drop 3 7s, take it.
Reset it, and then
reset it,
start
go
over with
again.
what he wants, yeah.
There's nothing worse than somebody playing like a 2 right before you.
Yeah, and you're like
yeah, but this game was super fun. I'm really excited to play it again. We talked about like just making our own version because it's like 4 decks of cards.
Right, yeah, you
and,
just take 4 decks of cards,
and you
shove them
have the
together.
rules and everything. But man, Wes did a really good job, and it's a really nice thing for Weathervane to have. I think as a thing for them to sell as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, really excited for Wildside. I really had a good time playing it.
You should see. I sent him a image of a deck box that he could get to carry his game around in, and it's got flamingos all over it. He was like, "I need to get this. Where can I get this? Never mind. I already ordered one."
That's perfect.
It was funny.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
All right, Mike.
Sounds like it was a lot of fun.
It was so much fun.
I mean,
man,
I
you really missed it.
Man.
Don't know if it was as fun as me being sick.
I don't know that we'll
Yeah.
ever play it again, though. That's
Probably
the
not.
problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, Mike.
Wow. All right. Speaking of misting things, my number 3 is the third
Game we're going to talk about?
game I'm going to talk about.
Three
I was like,
Horsemen.
what the hell is he talking about? Yeah, it's one less
Three
than
amigos.
4.
Yeah.
I bet I'm the only one that's going to have this on my list, but I started reading about this just while I was doing my research. I heard about the campaign, but then I started reading more into this game when I did my research, and it vaulted onto the list. This is Avalon the Riven Vale. This is by Shadowborn Games and designed by Jamie Jolly, who made Oathsworn. But this is not a boss battler. This is a territory control game with asymmetric factions.
Ooh, I don't like
You
that.
guys are in.
Yeah.
This also uses a fog of war mechanic, so you're going to use deploy cards, move cards, and building settlements for points. War cards, which are used for battle strength. I have heard if you like Blood Rage, you are going to like this game. Cards are paid for by discarding other cards, which is always an interesting mechanic.
Oh,
I
it's
really
so
want to
tough.
use this card, but I might need to use it to pay for this other card. Bonkers miniatures, which depict 3 different types of units that you'll be deploying to the board, but only one of your units, the Lords, have the ability to reveal what is underneath the mist, which represents the fog of
I
war
love that
in this
idea.
game.
I love that idea.
And you will also be populating the board, those blind areas, the fog of war, with these mist cards, which are like more powerful versions of the cards that you start with. But only by winning battles will you gain access to these cards. Battles are resolved like Ankh, where you know the order, but in this game, it's a circular board. You start on the outside and you work your way towards the inside. You don't know the effects of the mist cards until you deploy them in your Lord into this area. But also, this game has a push your luck battle resolution. You're going to program your battle card before the battle starts. If my battle card says 9, I'm then going to draw cards from the battle deck, and I'm going to continue adding strength to the battle card up to its limit. If I go over the number, I bust. I don't I get half of the total of the battle card, but I don't get to use the ability. So if I draw a 3 and a 4, I probably want to stop. I'm only getting 7 strength in battle, but at least I'm guaranteed to use my battle effect. That whole combination of things, push your luck, battle resolution. I'm loving what I'm hearing about this game. I was so excited when I was doing my research. I late pledged this game. I did that this morning.
Wow.
So I will have this one. It is supposed
The board game rundown bump is in effect.
In effect, buddy.
I hope it will fulfill. It should fulfill this year. That's what has been said. The miniatures look just absolutely bananas, and everybody loves Oathsworn, and this is the same designer again. So it's Avalon, the Riven Vale. If you like your hybrid territory control games, this is one to look for.
Interesting. We'll see. All right. That's going to take us down to number 2. We were fortunate enough to play a prototype of this game many years ago. We played a 2v2v2 version of this.
Thank you for having this on your
It
list.
is finally shipping this year.
Yes.
From Short Hop Games.
Yes.
Quests and Cannons, The Risen Islands. It's kind of like pick up and deliver. You have these really cool ship player boards where you've got your sails and you can furl and unfurl them to like gain speed and extra movement. You're loading your cannons up. You've got asymmetrical factions with different like player abilities. And there's all different types of way to play it. You can do, 1v1v1v1v1. You can do it, in teams. And like in that 2v2v2 that we did, it was so cool because you'd have your ships and you guys could pick up opposite, things and then meet each other out in the high seas, trade goods, and then like go your opposite directions, or you can team up to try to sink, an opponent or something like that. And man, like I'm so excited. This is finally getting the ship. The prototype was amazing, and yeah, it's finally coming out this year. So that was 2022 is when I think when it finally Kickstart funded.
Yeah.
And now it's finally gonna...
It's been a minute, but like anything, right?
Yeah, they kept up to date. They kept updating everybody.
They did great with the updates. And again, right? Like I think it's easy to forget that a lot of board game designers have 9-to-5s and real lives, and families and things like that. And sometimes stuff happens and you just have to be patient.
Yep.
And let life, let them deal with the things that life hands them, and then they can get you
back to getting you a good game.
And that's a game that definitely is going to be worth the wait.
Yep.
It was so good.
It was
so good. I had it written down.
Oh, nice.
So my number 2, I will just keep with the number. Guardians of Atlantis 2, which is shipping now. Mine should arrive on my doorstep tomorrow.
Tuesday for mine.
I backed it on GameFound 2 years ago, or was that last year?
I think it was last year.
Might have been last May.
Not sure.
I don't remember.
Can't remember.
Things go. I went all in on this bad boy because I really want to play it. It looks really cool. I have gotten into MOBAs a little bit, like not crazy, but I enjoy them. And I really like the idea behind this game. It was recommended by somebody from our Discord, right? Trevor, thank you in advance. Just if it sucks. Just kidding. I'm really looking forward to it. It came very highly recommended. I know a lot of people were pretty excited about it. I mean, it was so good they made a sequel. So my number 2, Guardians of Atlantis 2.
I think this is a re-implementation. So there was a first one and there was a 2. 2 is credited with coming out in 2022. But I believe this is a reprint where they added factions and more stuff. So I debated whether I was going to put it on my list, and I had a pretty good feeling that Tim was going to put it on his list. So I left it off because of that caveat. But this was a GameFound campaign. Wolf Designs, the whole idea of MOBAs are just so interesting to me because you're leveling up your character as you play. And you're leveling up your battle cards as you play. And you do that by like defeating, the NPCs that are in the game, not going immediately after other players, leveling your character up, then going for the PvP combat. That's always what's interested me about MOBAs. I just hope this one does it credit in board game form.
Yeah. I mean, I will support big swings because at least you're trying something.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And I didn't have to go all in because Tim did.
Yeah, he was like, if you're going all in, I'm just gonna get the base game. And then when he shared his shipping notification, I'm like, look at that puny. There's only like 3 lines to that. Where mine is like,
CVS receipt.
You're missing several pounds on your box, Mike.
yeah.
It's not going to be like another Wonderland's War thing where you see Tim's upgraded bits and you're like,
Maybe.
Well,
Should've
it's
got
extra
this.
factions is what it is. So it's extra stuff to play with.
Yeah.
It's possible. I think the base game comes with 6, and then by the time you have that, it's like
quite a
12
few,
plus.
yeah.
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 So
I could not.
also,
I hear you.
this has team mode, so there is a 2v2.
I like team modes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's
I
super
can't
fun.
wait. I'm really excited for this one.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Hopefully, we'll be playing this one really soon.
I mean, maybe next week.
Everything.
Mike.
All right, my number 2. This will be the second game from publisher Hegemonic Games, and this is World Order. So Hegemonic Games, of course, the publisher of Hegemony, which was a very thematic and kind of true-to-life economic game.
Yeah.
But now with World Order, we are simulating the modern international relations with players taking control of one of the 4 dominant global powers of the 2010s: the U.S., the People's Republic of China, the Russian Federation, and the European Union. Utilize your diplomatic power, economic strength, and military might to expand your influence across the globe, form regional alliances, entice other nations through clever economic dependencies, or become the military juggernaut nobody dares to mess with. This game combines politics, area control, and deck building, so you know I'm interested. I backed the deluxe with the miniatures, and I cannot wait for this to fulfill this year.
Me neither. I want to
This
play
game
it.
is. I hope this one really hits like all of these mechanics sound like they will. This is just a combo of mechanics that I'm really excited for. So
Sounds awesome.
can't wait. World Order Hegemonic Games.
Oh, number
All
one.
right.
You ready for number one?
I'm ready. The 5th one.
The 5th one.
On the list is my number
but
1.
it's their number 1.
I got to play this game at Gen Con. Not this past year, but I believe it was the year before.
Okay.
Okay. It is Arcane Wonders.
Okay.
And it is planned / like hidden movement. It's a 2-player game, but I do believe they're going to make it so you can play like 4 players or more players. But it is Call of Duty.
Yeah.
And man, this game is a lot of fun. Like you have your little map hidden behind there, and you have these little tokens with like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and you're putting them on your map, like how you want to move, which way you want to face and cover. And then when you reveal it, you have your guy on the board, and you're moving. And then as soon as you have line of sight on somebody, you get to take a shot. You're taking into factor like your distance, whether you're moving or stable. You can like throw grenades and stuff like that, whether somebody has cover. And you're rolling dice, you're playing cards. And I just had a lot of fun playing this game, and I can't wait to get my hands on the finished project.
Now, what are the dude bros gonna do when you can't like quick scope and
Rage.
teabag guys?
Yeah. Well, there will be teabagging. But yeah, no, I'm really excited for this one to finally get done and see a finished version. We saw I guess it was a sort of finished version of it this is most recent year. Like,
Oh, sure.
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And,
like a pre-production, like a production
pre-production
sample kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes, and it was very cool. It wasn't just like 3D printed bits. It was actually
Right.
like factory made bits. And yeah, it's very cool, and I think it's going to be beautiful. And I feel like the mechanics were done really well. So
Yeah, I mean, they have a good track record.
they do, yeah.
You know, so
They make nice games. Like I said, though, just that whole feeling of planning your movement out. Like, is he going to run over there and try to go over here? Or I'm just going to stay here and just keep Overwatch on something. And yeah, man, it's really cool.
that's good stuff, man. That's really good stuff. All right, my number 1, Bob.
Yeah,
You like killing Nazis.
I do.
I like killing Nazis. I'm really excited. There's a standalone expansion coming out for one of my favorite games that lets me kill Nazis.
What?
That is Black Orchestra
Oh, yeah.
Valkyrie. So this is basically specifically trying to pull off that mission,
Okay.
right? Like so that Tom Cruise movie.
Right.
You're using explosives, things like that.
Scientology.
Yes. That's perfect. But anyways, anything Black Orchestra, I'm really hyped for. They do have another expansion also coming out but it's more just for the base game, I believe. But this Valkyrie standalone, I'm really hyped to get my hands on it, check it out. Anything gets that game back to the table and back on the forefront.
Right.
It's a really fun, very difficult co-op with a theme. I think everybody should be able to get behind. Let's kill Hitler.
Yeah.
So.
And as always, kill Hitler.
And if I don't get my Nazi scalps.
That's right.
You know,
I want my scalps.
But yeah, man, I'm really excited. I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. It's supposed to come this year.
Having not played it and only heard you guys talk about it, I can't wait to cover it.
I think you'd like it.
Yeah.
I mean, we should, before it comes out, we should get you to play Black Orchestra with us.
Yes. As soon as we're done with our other legacy endeavor that we are on, we should play that.
Yeah. Well, it's not a legacy game.
It's not, but I mean, it's a similar vein, right? It's going to be the same. I mean, a standalone expansion, like a Ascension type of standalone expansion.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
I just want him to play Black Orchestra because we
So
talk
he's-
about it all the time.
Okay,
and then
that's
he's
fair.
got an idea. I'm sure the mechanics are going to be similar, right?
I got you.
All right, Mike.
All
Don't blow it.
Speaking of games that we have covered on the channel, that is why it made my number one, because we played it on this very table, and I immediately wanted to re-rack and play this game like 2 or 3 more times. It is Layers from Kids Table Board Games. This is a dungeon building game. This made my number one. And first, you're going to build a dungeon with an exit and an end. So you're going to be placing walls and then monsters and then traps. Then players will take turn using action selection to venture through each other's dungeons blindly. One action allow you does actually stop and look at adjacent territories, but it slows you down. And really you want to get through kind of quick, so you beat the other player
It's a
to
race.
the exit and get the bonus points for exiting quicker. But that's not the only way to score. If you discover more of the treasures, you get more points. If you slay some of the monsters in the dungeon, you get points. So it's not always about getting to the end quicker. In fact, I beat Tim to the exit, and he beat me because he discovered more of my treasures. But man, while we're building our dungeon and putting those walls out and building dead ends and cackling about
Oh
how
my
we're
gosh.
going to trip each other up and hopefully put a trap somewhere that we didn't expect, and then actually watching each other play through this and knowing there's a trap in the very next space. Is he going to search in that space, or is he just going to walk right into it?
There's nothing more disappointing than when they search before they walk into that trap. It's like,
I'm gonna
oh,
search.
come on.
Okay, which direction? To the left. No, you found one of my traps.
I was super jealous watching you guys play this game.
The other thing to consider, right, is that this unlocks stuff as you play through
Yes.
it. So we just saw like very
The
bare
intro,
bones
yeah.
intro
The
stuff,
bare
and there's
bones
more
stuff.
There's more coming, which is so exciting.
I ended up kickstarting
They
this.
had a couple things that were like in the base box that we sort of just peered at. We're not going to spoil anything. But when you've got traps and monsters, you got an infinite sandbox to play with here. You can have traps do all kinds of different stuff. You can
Yeah.
have multiples of different monsters that do things.
Yeah.
And just all of the options that the Kids Table has to add to this game just seems infinite.
So damn good. Yeah.
And so there's tons of replayability here. You know it's going to be a good production because it's Kids Table board gaming. I just had so much fun playing this game, and it's really easy to teach and learn, just like every game from Kids Table. So
Yeah.
you know it's going to hit the table.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I can't wait to play this one. Definitely going to be out this year.
That is a box checker for sure. You know. All right, I'm going to run through a couple of honorable mentions, and I'm only going to like maybe say a few words about each one, and then I'll just let you guys talk. So obviously we should talk about Wine Cellar. That's coming out this year.
Oh, yeah.
That was
You
number
know,
6.
Great auction game. Fest season.
Oh, yeah, that was fun, too.
that should be coming out later this year. Really cool. You're basically booking acts like for making
For
your own
concert season,
festivals.
yeah.
Really cool idea. LA1 I think is coming out this year. I really enjoyed that campaign style storytelling game from Richard Lanius, designed by Richard Lanius, and coming from Trick or Treat Studios. We do have videos on that. And Vrahode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to talk about Vrahode, but then I wanted to talk about Wildside. So I switched Vrahode and Wildside. So sorry, Jeff. I'm also very excited for Vrahode. I really, again, appreciate what that's going to offer. That very quick, easy to the table, let's play
Right.
quickly kind of game. Honorable mentions for you guys.
Yeah, so Lairs was on my
Yeah,
short list.
I didn't say any of the ones that had already been
Yeah.
crossed over, but yeah,
Fairy Tale Campaign Trail should be coming out this year, right?
that should be this year. Yes.
That'll be a bunch of fun. So, Mike?
Just more about Wine Cellar. It was one of my most played games last year, and that's because I took the pre-production copy everywhere I went. I got so many people to play this game that enjoyed it. I got some people that aren't huge gamers that enjoyed it just because of the theme. Really easy to play, plays in 20 minutes, very strategic, and it's hard to find strategic games that support 8 players, and this one just does it very well. If you like For Sale, like Wine Cellar is a no-brainer for me. How to Save a World, of course. I can't wait for that one. Cartini from Ion Game Design. This was a super thematic tableau builder where we actually learned something. Like the flavor text on the cards in this game are actually
so
about
informative.
Kartini, who fought for women's rights in Indonesia
So
in the early
informative.
1900s. And I was just blown away at how they were able to incorporate this theme, and where you're actually building a tableau and you are training teachers, and those teachers are training your other students that come through. I just really enjoyed that one. I've got Emerald Skulls from Thunderworks Games. I backed this one. You're actually just having one person roll dice, and they're moving up like this kind of track board, but you're betting on how well they're able to do.
Nice.
I love a lot of games from Thunderworks Games, so I'm
Yeah.
excited for that. And my last one is Tend from IV Studios.
Oh, yeah.
Their components are always bonkers, and this is the same design team that brought you Moonrakers, Fractured Sky, and Veiled Fate.
Oh,
but
yeah,
now
beautiful
this
looking
is a
games.
crunchy roll and write, and I like roll and writes that give you tons of paths to play with and give you lots of action chaining and combos, and this one has it.
That's what's up.
Yeah. Tend is also on my list.
That's what's up. Right on. No, great. And I know there's a ton we left off, so,
There's so many.
there's so many cool games coming out. But we just wanted to give you like a, 15 that we're excited about.
Right.
And heads up, and you've probably already heard us talk about them. Some of them we have already covered because we were lucky enough to see prototypes and preview copies. And some of them we hope to get. I think all of them we probably will show up.
I
at our
think we're going to
doorstep.
have this year. I think we're pretty confident about that.
Yep.
But, with like 4,000 to 5,000 board games coming out every single year,
Right.
hopefully we can steer you towards the games that you'll end up enjoying this year, because it's hard to get them all. It's impossible,
Yeah,
really.
this ain't Pokemon, man. You
That's
ain't
right.
gonna catch them all.
You're not going to catch them all. Also, for those of you that were expecting this to be a live show, we're sorry we had some technical difficulties in the studio, but we're going to release this ASAP so you can enjoy it right away.
Yeah, and we're going to be messing around with that once we get all that stuff worked out. We're going to mess around with doing some lives right from here, which maybe then will get edited later for an upload, but at least you get it right away. Because we wanted to rush this list kind of out, get it out to you, and share it.
Well, there's still plenty of year left.
Yeah, right. Also, because some of you have already done it, and I love it. Thank you. In the Discord, people are already dropping like their anticipated list,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's
so,
awesome.
so let us know here on the YouTube. Like, leave us a comment, give us a thumbs, like, subscribe, all those things. Hit us up in the Discord. Get on there, drop your list, get into the conversation with everybody. I mean, it's really cool to see. Like, we are in there and we participate, but man, there are great conversations going on in there all the time, whether we're involved or not. And I really appreciate that. We've got a really nice, safe group there. Everybody's like really cool to each other, and just love watching people talk about games and be passionate about it.
Drop them in the comments. We respond to every comment that you type.
As long as it makes sense.
Yeah.
Some of
Or
them
you're
I
not
don't.
mean.
Some of them don't make sense.
I respond to the mean ones.
Yeah, sometimes.
if they make sense. All right, guys. That's all I got for the board game rundown. I've been Tim.
Bob,
I'm still teabagging.
did not anticipate that.